All right, guys, I'm feeling very charitable. So today we're going to do a full beats masterclass, how to make beats from beginner to intermediate and showing you some advanced techniques as well. So stick to it. And I'm going to guide you through this video. We're going to make different types of beats today: hip hop, sample hip hop, loop based hip hop, melodic hip hop. We're going to play some stuff by hand and let's see where we take it, and even drill. So I'm going to show you how to do it faster. Okay, so the first thing is just getting the right sounds. If you don't have the right sounds, go to our Discord. It's discord.gg/busyworksbeats. We have an entire samples folder that has all the top records from all the classic hip hop records. So start there. And we also have the Lunch 77 drum kit in there, which has like every major producer kit in here that you could think of. Metro Boomin, Murder Beats, just so many. I don't even, Dr. Dre, Scott Storch, you name it. Pharrell, all of them. Okay, so let's start with the sample first. And we're going to assume you have no plugins, no anything. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make beats. So firstly, grab a sample that you like. I think that's key. So let's do blueprint samples and let's click on something random. So realize too, the definition of hip hop, the original definition was a drum break combined with a musical sample. That we combine those two and then create a hip hop beat. So some samples are drum heavy, some are music heavy. You need to decide, what are you going into a record to grab? Or is it vocal chant style like Kanye? So you could hit shift to move around the sample. Okay, so that one has drums, but I'll show you how to take out the drums with the new FL Studio. So let's drag this in. First thing we need to do is count out the music before you turn the metronome on. Count the music. If you don't know how to count, I'll show you. It's simple. Let's go to song mode. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, and then we keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, and slice. Okay, so grab your slice tool, hit Shift Alt to do a vertical slice just like that. Now in the beginning, it does not start at this part. It starts at this part. So we're going to slice that off too. Okay, so make sure you count your music before you chop or as you chop. Click here in the top left, go to Make Unique as a sample. This will separate that sample to be just this clip that we see. Okay, and now we need to stretch it. So double click, go to time knob, and then lock this to the nearest bar. It will automatically lock. So if you put this to stretch mode, it will keep its original pitch. Now, I like it on resample because it just feels like slow down, tripping with the 4-pound, iced out chain with the iced out chain. It just sounds dope. Okay, so click here. Let's extract stems from sample. Make sure they're all selected and hit extract. Now, if you have a long sample, I'm telling you now, if you have anything beyond 8 bars, this will take forever. So limit your samples that you want to extract from 4 to 8 bars. If you don't see the bars, go to the snap to grid and switch this to bar, that little magnet in the top left of the playlist. Now we can separate the instruments. So what I want to do is take out the drum. So let's right click, delete that. And we need to just turn these down. Let's see if we can go without the bass, because that bass will interfere with our kicks and our 808. So now we have the musical loop. That's all we need. So that is definitely a game changer for FL Studio, is the ability to remove instruments. Okay, so now let's double click, make sure it's locked in. It is locked in. Cool. Hit Control, double click, hit Control L, send it to the mixer. I'm going to give you guys as many project files as I can. I can't give you sample project files because it's samples inside, but I'll give you the other beats that we make today. Just go to busyworksbeats.com. And you can sign up. There's a free downloads tab up at the top of the website. Okay, so let's hit Control B. And now we need the drum. So that's half the battle. Let me find some drums. There's drums that just always hit. This kick right here always hits. Hit Control L. We're going to trim out the sides of the kick so there's no gaps. And now we're going to go to the channel rack up top and go to pattern mode, drag in this pattern. Here's another shortcut. Let's say you have a bunch of audio clips stacking up and you don't know what you're using, what you're not. Go to Tools, Macros, and then Purge Unused Audio Clips. That will get rid of all the excess stuff, save some space. Okay, so we need to figure out a drum pattern. So let's turn on the metronome. So I need to go boom, 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 or Okay, so let's left click, draw that in. So let me find a snare that would be like. Just need a. There we go. It's almost like the exact sound I was making. We're gonna put this on the 3 and the 7 count. If you can't count, turn your metronome on. Remember, we're at double tempo here, so everything's like half, basically, or double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go to our snare. Let's delay it just a little bit. Go to the wrench tool, turn up time shift. I've been here for a while. Let's see if we need any hi-hats. Let's use the Dr. Dre kit. Grab this hi-hat, hit Control L, send it to the mixer. Right click, fill each 4. Let's go to the hi-hat, go to the wrench tool, turn up time shift, turn this down. Okay, so now we need the bass. So we can come up with an 808. Now this pattern that we're building is more of a hip hop pattern than it is a trap pattern. So 808 might not be the key for this type beat. Oh wow, let's open up Boo Bass. I haven't used this in so long. Let's go to the wrench tool, turn on monophonic mode. It sounds like a Seinfeld bass. It's a little out of pitch. So I have to tune this. I like that. So let me record this. Let's go to a new pattern. I'm using my typing keyboard to play. So right click here, right click on C, right click 4, right click layout piano. And you could type in. Okay, so I'm just playing that by hand. Let's double click. Let's pull this down, control down. That's a little too low, control up. You can shape the tone of this bass. So if you want less of that Seinfeld sound, turn down the mid. Hit Control B to latch paste. It's a pretty simple beat, nothing crazy. But again, we're starting at beginner level, then we'll work our way up. Let me show you how to get texture and then we'll move forward. So to get texture, we need mixing plugins. This is why the mixer is important, because this is how we change the tone and texture of a sound. So let's go to our group track in this case. Now let's say I want this to be a little more aggressive. Let's add, now I'm gonna use Fruity's stock stuff, but it's not the greatest mixing plugins. Let's do, let me think for a second. Let's do Maximus. Let's go to the master, let's widen this out. Now let's go to the lows and let's saturate the lows. Let's do what's called pre to turn up the bass going into it. Let's mess with this threshold. Okay, now we added a little knock to the bass, not a lot. Let's solo the mids. Okay, so let's say you wanted the mids a little crunchier. We're gonna lower, let's mess with our saturator. And again, you can mess with the pre knob to boost it into the tape. You hear that buzz? Just match it with the post volume here. So we're adding what's called harmonics. This is a little advanced. So now I'm saturating the highs. I just want to see. Really doesn't add much. So let's undo that because it doesn't add much texture. Okay, then you can saturate the entire track here. Boosting it in pre. Now keep in mind there's a compressor on this too. You don't need to know what that means or what it does. Hear that crunch? It's because we squared off the sound. So that's the last frontier, is just getting your mix tightened up. Gonna compress the mids a little bit more. Now for this video, we're going into an L2. That's just for the video production, but you could turn that off. It's just a little bit quieter. And there we have our first beat. Now you can go through each sound and boost individual things. Like let's say you wanted to boost the bass up in the subs. You could boost it at 75 hertz or 60 hertz. It's two of my favorite frequencies. Let's play it before the mixing and then after. Here's before. See, before mixing sounds amateur. Now here's after. So that's how mixing can get you that final, taking it from beginner to intermediate to advanced pretty quickly through mixing. Okay, so that was our hip hop beat. Okay, now I can't share the project files for that. Actually, I can. What I'll do is I'll remove the sample. This will be everything except the sample. So we'll call it beat one hip hop. So like the like button if you haven't already, as a thank you. Subscribe if you're new. Go to busyworksbeats.com for the project files. So we'll call this hip hop, and then we need to get rid of the audio, delete, and we'll save that. So now it's just the bass and the drums, but you guys can insert your own sample. Okay, let's open up a new project file. Nextly, let's do drill. All right, drill is pretty simple. What we're gonna do, let's save this first. Let's call this drill beat. Hey hands, let's call this beat Masterclass drill. I don't know why I'm being silly. Okay, let's save that. Okay, so with drill, it's really simple. Let's go to 144 BPM. Okay, now all we need is what's called a counter snare. I don't know any famous drill producers, but I guess we could start with Travis Scott. Not because Travis Scott's known for drill, but because his snares are nice and short. So let's right click, let's open this up. Okay, we're just gonna do this. Now we're gonna create what's called tresillo. So it's ta, 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 ta. Tresillo is the root of so many genres and timing that I could sit here all day to explain. From Afrobeat to drill to trap to hip hop to you name it. So we're at 144 and just go ta, 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 ta. That's the whole drill pattern right there. Everything else is really just a combination of what you like as far as sound. Some people take drill to where it sounds like EDM music combined. I don't really like that style of drill. Some people do like singable drill, danceable drill, to where it's like a hip hop song. So there's different styles of drill. There's no one style. Let's go to the wrench tool and let's use what's called Mod X. And we're going to mess with what's called the high pass filter here to thin out some of the lows. I learned this from J Cactus. It's called a counter snare, which really is just a snare with a high pass filter. I think we can give this an envelope so it kind of swooshes in as opposed to just. Okay, let's mess with this. So we can determine how the high pass filter works. So I'm kind of swooshing into a high pass, or we could do it the opposite way to make the high pass kind of. Okay, so it's up to you guys how you arrange this. This is really sound design at this point. You could add a little attack to the volume so it's not as harsh. Okay, so something like this. Okay, something soft. It's like their version of a hi-hat. Okay, so you don't need to have every single hit for drill, ta, 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 all the way through. Let's hit Control L, send that to the mixer. But let's get our kicks in, and I'm going to copy some Chicago drill technique. Let's go back to that kick. This is works for all hip hop. And again, you guys will get the project files for free, so don't try to memorize these steps. Let's open this up. Let's trim this, and let's hit Control L. So it's boom. Now I'm going to have to draw this out longer. So it's going to go boom. This is an FL glitch. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to. I didn't realize we were in song mode. Let's go to pattern mode. That explains that. Okay, go to pattern mode, and now it's boom. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to continue the pattern. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Like that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so most people think these guys are using 808s. Some are. Others are using more of a sustained sound. You don't need to memorize what that means. Let's just go to the Metro Boomin kit. Again, you will get the project files for free. You won't have to do all this. Let's look for what's called the Spins 808. This is the most popular 808. There's different 808s out there, but most of those are just processed Spins 808s. So we need to find the actual spins. Here we go. Let's right click, open that up. Now, firstly, we're going to right click, edit in the audio editor. You don't need to do this at home. I'll do all the hard work for you. You need to fade out any clicks, but also change your snap to grid to 0 crossings and then highlight a section, and we're going to set a loop. Okay. Now double click to get out of the loop and left click and drag that sample back into the sampler. What we're doing is adding a sustain sound to this 808. So now when I hold the key, it sustains. Now we could fix the actual loop. Okay, so for a loop, I didn't check. I just kind of eyeballed it. You want to start at the beginning of a cycle and then make sure it ends at the end of a cycle. So the beginning is when it goes up. The end is when it goes down and then back up. So this should be a better loop right here. And now it sustains in the sound. Okay, when you hold the note, just make sure use loop points is on in your sample. Now you can run this sample through anything. You can run it through distortion. But first, let's write the notes and then we'll worry about all the processing. Now, usually I write my melodies first, but let's just start with the bass. Change our snap to grid to 1/2. Now notice the bass kind of stops whenever the note stops. That's because we have loop points on. So I'm highlighting the notes, hitting Control, and then hit Control L to make sure they don't overlap. Now that wouldn't be a typical da, 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 but I'm going to show you guys something. So if you don't know which notes to play, just play a half step. which is going from whatever note you're at to one note directly above or below. Notice these notes are like subtly cut off. That adds to the bounce. So let's say you want to create that pop smoke type of slide. Hit Shift, highlight all your notes, hit Shift, left click, hit Control up, at least one octave. Double click on each note and switch it to the slide note. So double click, click this little slide note icon right there. So now the notes will slide to this note over that amount of time. If you want faster slides, shorten these notes. So hit Alt, left click, shorten these notes like this. So let's make these 808s faster. So let's add do-do-do-do. First, let's get the timing right. So I shortened the notes to half of the length. And then we're going to change the notes, highlight, hit Control. So I want to go, let's hit Control up so we can actually hear the tone. So let's hit Shift down, move those two notes. So let's go to half step C sharp and then back to C. Okay, now we can pull everything back down, Control down. Now, if the pitch doesn't bend fast enough, highlight your slide notes, hit Control up. It will pitch bend faster. Pitch bend the higher notes. So that's how you do that. Okay, let's add like a plucky type melody. All right, let's see. Trying to think what has plucks in it. Let's go to citrus. Morphine, that's another good one, but not everybody has that one. But morphine's another good one. Let's go to citrus, let's go to presets, and let's go to chromatic. That's kind of dope. It's too plate. That's kind of dirty. Let's record that. Now I'm using my typing keyboard. So I'm right clicking here, go to C4 and then layout piano. I'm using my typing keyboard. Let's go back. Make sure we hit stop twice before we 2, 3. I messed up at the end, but whatever. So one of these notes is early. We're just going to fix just that note. The notes need to be played a little bit delayed, so I'm not quantizing the notes. Okay, let's make this unique and let's change out that 808. Let's do. Okay, so we're gonna do a big slide, double click, make that a slide note, so it's gonna like that. Now at the end you can get crazy like do 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 do. Like I'm just not doing that much for this beat. Okay, let's work on the sound here. Let's make the sound a little more gangster. Let's run it through a pitch shifter. Okay, so now we're just mangling the artifacts of the sound, making it like the pitch down version more than the pitched up. Okay, so now let's add some effects. Okay, so now we need an actual snare. Almost forgot to add an actual snare in here. Now, usually the snares are nice and short. They're more of a rim than they are a snare. There we go, like this one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Let's go to pattern 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you can also, switch up the timing so it's on the 3 and the 6. The 1, 2. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. So drill, you could change up the timing of the snare. I'm going to go through different sounds for the melody. I like this better. So let's do something here. We're going to combine pattern 1 and 2, highlight these, hit Control G. Rarely do I produce in patterns, but I'm doing this so that I can combine the MIDI for the synth. Hit Control X, right click. We're gonna move that to a new pattern. Because what I wanna do is reroute this sound in the mixer, hit Control L, so now it's on a new track. I want the original sound plus that sound. So let's left click to send a duplicate of the synth over to that track. And I'll show you a technique I use, which is using gross beat to add half time. Go to presets, momentary, half speed. And also I'll add more reverb in here. Let's add fruity reverb too. Turn down the dry level. The notes are moving a little too quickly, so what I might do is spread these notes out. So let's hit Control A, hit Alt, and then left click until the notes are double in length. So let's pull this up to 16. Okay, now we can go back and switch out the actual sound. So here's what I do on the reverb track. I forgot to do it. Pull back the mix level for the half speed effect. Okay, now I'm going to start mixing the 808. Now the 808 sounds out of key because of the sound we're using. It's not because it's out of key, it's because this sound is different. So now we need to adjust the 808 to sound in key. To do this, we're going to go back to pattern 2, find our 808, pull it up an octave or 2, Control up, and then figure out why it sounds out of key. So let's say you want your 808s to fill out more space, hit Control L. To me, it's just too much sustain. Pull back on the original level and just use that reverb. So I know it's a little repetitive, it's because we didn't make 1,000 808 changes. And then I need to add a couple sound effects. We're still gonna mess with different sounds. That cello's a little bitey. Let's combine the cello and the choir. Okay, so now let's mix it in the Maximus. What I'm going to do for the bass is send it through that tape saturation effect. All right, I need to up the buffer length for this processing. Why was I on this the whole time? Hold on. Hopefully y'all even heard the audio. Didn't realize we were on that one the whole time. Let me double check. All right, you gotta check every now and again. I'm gonna add the Fruity Soft Clipper going in just so we have a little more harmonic. And then we're going to push the gain in using an EQ2. Don't worry about memorizing this. This is more advanced. We're gonna get more loudness out of it. Only thing is this technique is not working on that 808 because it's already saturated, so it's coming in saturated on top of saturation on top of saturation. So now I got to figure out how to get the levels right for the 808. So this is how important understanding gain staging is, because this little gain knob right here is adding so much crunch to the sound. Going through that tape saturator. Listen to before, and we're gonna slowly crank this up. Now you can push it too hard, okay? So just push it so you hear that crunch, and then right here. Now I'm adding the distortion back to the 808. Okay, so you can spend more time on mixing. I'll give you guys the project files for free, so no worries on that. Let's make sure we're saving this. And next, I want to do like a sample beat, but differently. Let's just do melodic trap next. Let's open this up. All right, so if you're learning something, I need you to smash that like button so that we can keep this rocking. All right, so now let's do melodic trap. People are working in my neighborhood, so I might have to mute my mic because I feel like they're about to start rumbling the stuff soon. All right, so let's call this Beats Masterclass, and let's do this melodic trap. Now again, all these beats can be, I can spend way more time. We're using stock plugins. I usually don't use stock plugins. It's a lot easier to get that sound with non-stock plugins, that crunchy sound. Okay, so firstly, with melodic trap, usually it starts with piano, some kind of piano style synth or guitar. So let's start with Flex. We're gonna use their guitar preset. And I'll show you how to make basic guitar. So let's go to free, and you should see essential guitars under there. Let's go to essential guitars. And I'm gonna start with I always forget what the good one's called. I don't really like this plugin, but I'm doing it for y'all. Nylon, here we go. Now this has like a weird reverb on it. Like that sound. I don't know why they decided to do that, but we can't undo it from what I understand. So let's take off the effects. I guess that's what the shimmer was, okay. And let's add some volume, release. Now it still sounds thin and fake to me, but that's just the nature of stock plugins. Let's go to, let's say 135-ish is about Young Thug. And we need to start with a minor chord, really simple. Go to our chord stamp, we can go to minor chord, or you could just map out what are called chord codes. A minor chord is basically 0, 3, 7. So wherever you start the root note, just count up 3. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 0 through 7 always makes a minor chord. That's what it sounds like. So we're gonna figure out which key do we want to be in. G minor is very sad, F minor is very sad, E minor is very sad. So E is probably the darkest out of them all, then F, then G. Okay, so everything else is a little more happy sounding. So I like B minor, sounds cool. So what we're gonna do from here is add what's called the ninth. Basically just count up 7 notes from your top note. Here, your fifth. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's called your ninth. So this is a minor add 9 chord. You can move these notes around to make them more melodic. And kind of restrum the notes, repick the notes, I should say. Now on the second, we're gonna go to the velocity, grab this ellipses down here, pull this up, and just turn this down. So it doesn't sound like a full note, it's more of a ghost note. And at this point, just make sure your notes are in. So dun, dun. That's what my ear hears. So let's grab all these notes, hit shift, and then pull this down to A. Now I'll tell you how to switch this chord. We're gonna take this, if it sounds wrong, just take this middle note, hit shift down. Or you could pull it up 1. That's a little more happy sounding, so let's go with the flattened note. Okay, sounds more tense. And so dun, dun, dun. And we're gonna hit shift, pull this over. Now this darn, let's hit shift down. And then we can repeat that. And now we have an emotional sound. Let's switch this to a major. I just want to see what it sounds like. This last note. It's too happy. Let's make that last note the major. Major is 047 instead of 037. I like that. I like the ending. So now you can just add a bunch of effects. Let's hit Control L, send this to the mixer. Now this is a really low frequency, these notes. So let's add a new track called Reverb. Let's add Fruity Reverb 2. Let's see what kind of presets we have, large hall. And let's left click to send this to the reverb. We're gonna turn down what's called the dry. You don't need to memorize this, I'll do it for you. The only thing I don't like about these samples is it sounds like the mic is just everywhere. So let's mess with the mic location and position so it's not all over the place. Okay, so now we just need 808s and drums. Again, you can get these drums on our Discord. You can get the project files, just go on to busyworksbeats.com. I'm gonna mute my mic until I find some sounds. To open up sounds, you just right click and open in new channel. Let's use some Metro sounds. He has like all the trap. This is like a bounce snare. Let's turn the loop off, go to mode, resample, right click the time, hit none to reset. This is more of a bouncy snare though. Hit Control L, send it to your mixer. So again, right click, open a new channel as far as picking sounds. Kind of like that sound too. So for this type of beat, I think we're going more clap than we're gonna go snare. Snare is more when you have like trumpets and brass and everything, like a harder type sound. Let's go, so it's on, let's turn the metronome on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And just Control B to latch pace. I'm gonna mute my mic and find some hi-hats. Hi-hats are pretty simple. I'll show you guys how to do hi-hat rolls. Pretty simple. Double click, right click, go to piano roll. Actually don't go to piano roll. Right click, fill each 2 steps, add a random note over here and just do it again. It will fill it out. So I like to draw out where I want a hi-hat roll. So let's open up the piano roll. Okay, so I'm gonna make this note longer, hit Control L. Okay, I'm going to highlight these 2 notes, hit Control Shift, highlight, hit Alt U, and change the time multiplier. Now this beat doesn't need complex hi-hat rolls, but you can even add more notes. So boom, 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 da, da, da. So some people add like a sub layer of hi-hats, and then they'll roll these too. Let's hit Alt U to change the time. So it's up to you how you guys want to do your hi-hats. Okay, so that's how you do that. Now to do like the Internet Money pitch dive effect, just double click, highlight your hi-hats, hit Control, grab that ellipses at the bottom, pull this up, change this control to your note fine pitch, and then do right click to do a pitch bend, like that. You can also mess with your filter cutoff, right click, go down, and then mess with the resonance and do the opposite, going up. Tell you that like, that lasery sound to it. So hi-hats keep the beat bouncing, along with bounce snares. Beat's pretty much done. Now we just need 808s and kicks. Now spins is the safest 808 to use as far as like which 808. Just look for the spins 808. Again, we need to edit this in the audio editor. Go to snap to grid, 0 crossings, highlight. Make sure you have a full cycle starting up and then going down. And then make sure it ends going down, up. Loop mode, set loop, double click, drag this back into your sampler. Make sure it's on use loop mode. Now I'm just going to play the rhythm and then we'll add the notes. Control Q to quantize. Let's hear this beat all the way through. I'm going to mess with Maximus to mix it a little bit, but it doesn't need a lot of crunch. This sound just needs like a background, like, so I'm going to record my vocals going like, da-da. I don't even know what key this is. I think we're in B minor if I remember right. Let's use pitcher on my voice. Where's pitcher? Okay, pitcher, and let's figure out where I started actually. So we're in B minor. You don't need to memorize this. It's just, I want to go, da. Let's go to minor. Let's do B minor. Da. Okay, retune speed fast. Fast. So let's record this. Da. Record audio into playlist. Da. They All right, so we're gonna run that through reverb. Double click, hit Control L. I think I recorded pre, not recorded external. Let me see. Yeah, so basically I'm going to just take the picture, drag it over top, hit save preset as, drag it over. So now I'm just going to like mess with this. You don't need to memorize this for vocal. This is not a vocal mixing tutorial. Trust me. What I'm about to do is not typical. Cutting out the noise. Then we're going to run it through reverb and put the reverb at wet level, dry level down. This is his background sound. Okay, just something in the background, just to add texture. I reversed it. Let's see if it sounds cool. Sounds way cooler in reverse. Let's open up Maximus and mix a little bit. So again, we can mix this forever. That is the melodic trap beat. All right, let's move on to another track. Last track, I haven't decided yet. So let's save this one called a melodic trap. And what other styles? We did drill, melodic trap, hip hop. Let's do let's end on hip hop. All right, so for this one, I'm going to actually plug up my MIDI controller and play some stuff. Oh, you know, we didn't do R&B. Let's do R&B. Let's end this off with R&B. Let's do this. So again, smash the like button if you hadn't already. Subscribe if you're new, R&B. And I need to plug up my MIDI controller, so I need to remove something. So, let's see if my hard drive will come out. Sometimes it doesn't because FL's using it. Darn. All right, so what I'll do is let me close FL, load it back up. I just got to remove my hard drive. So let me switch cams. Wrong thing. Hold up, y'all. This is from a different live stream. All right, so give me a sec, guys. I'm going to load up FL one more time. Give me a sec. Check, check, check. All right, you already knew when FL came back on. All right, so we're back in. Let's save this as... So, I don't have my external hard drive, so we're gonna have to save this to the hard drive. The only reason I don't do this a lot is because when I run projects off of my main drive, the files go crazy. So I don't know why that happens. Let's call this Beat Masterclass. Hopefully I remember to add this into the free section here. Again, to get these project files for free, just go to busyworksbeats.com. There's a free downloads tab at the top. Let's do this. Okay, so R&B, I'm going to use the instruments I would actually use. I'm not going to sit here and act like FL comes with the greatest R&B sounds. It doesn't. Okay, you're going to have to find other plugins. So I like the JD800 from Roland. Look at Roland stuff. Xenology is really good. If you're going R&B and hip hop, this is the genre. So this, you can replace it with whatever instrument you want. But in order for me to write, I have to actually hear myself with these sounds. Okay. See how it like F's up your CPU really quickly? All right, so, that's because we're not on. That's why, actually. Okay, let's record this. So with R&B, you're going to be doing halftime. So it's going to be really slow. So let's go to 160, which is really 80 BPM. That's actually kind of fast. Let's do 120. Which is really 60 BPM. Let's record notes and automation. And I'm going to mute my mic again because we have construction. Let's hit Control L, send that to a new mixer. All right, so that's a chord progression for y'all. You guys could use this again. Just go to busyworksbeats.com and then you could look at the top. Really, we're just playing a D minor 7th chord. We're just raising up what's called the 3rd, and we're playing the root in the bass. Okay, so at this point, let's add some leads. we're just recording little ideas one at a time. Let's find a bass. Let's add the drums and then we'll do the bass. All right, so let's do the bass first. I forgot to unplug my hard drive with the drum sounds on it. So let's do the bass. Dang, my hard drive has everything on it. Okay, so we're gonna have to use the JD800, but in this case, I would use more of an electric bass. These plugins do not come with FL Studio stock, by the way. I'm just gonna record the bass notes, the actual notes of the chords. Keep it simple. I'm gonna fix those pitch bends. That chord change was optional. I made it more augmented just so it fit that last bass line, but not mandatory. Now we need to find some stock drums. Hopefully we can find any. Just need a basic rim or a snap and just a simple kick. And for these drums, it's following the chords more so you would take time to do the drums. I think you guys know how to do your own. Let's do one more layer of chords. As you see, we're eating up a lot of CPU, so I have to either render this or just up the buffer length. So I'll let this play. The drums aren't that good because the samples aren't that good to begin with. I'm actually going to take out the drums because the drum samples from stock plugins, just the stock drums aren't good, guy. I'm going to give them to you, but I'm going to mute them because they're effing up this beat. I got to go live for song feedback every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So I want to thank you guys. Hop in our Discord. Go to discord.gg/busyworksbeats and go to busyworksbeats.com to get these project files. Right at the top, it says free downloads. Peace out, guys.